Hi, my name is Ali Naqvi. I'm the Director of Solution Architecture here at Vulcan. What I'll be talking to you today about is how you could utilize the Vulcan platform to very quickly analyze how many of your assets are being impacted by the Log4j vulnerability and how you could quickly take actions to remediate some of those vulnerabilities. So what you're seeing here on the screen is our connector screen. So the first thing from a Vulcan's perspective we do is we connect to the dispersed tool sets that's out there for that ascertains vulnerabilities. So we connect to tools like AWS, Azure, GCP, other scanning tools, your traditional scanning tools like Qualys, Tenable, Rapid7. Also your SaaS and DAS and pen testing tools. We connect to those type of tools as well. And then we also connect to cloud native tools. So what we do is we connect to these tools via APIs. We ingest the data, we merge that data down, we normalize that data, and we correlate that data with our Remedy Cloud database to see if there's any remediations and that we can do for these vulnerabilities. We also connect to tools like Jira and ServiceNow to be able to orchestrate out the actions to the right asset owners to be able to remediate these vulnerabilities. And finally, we also connect to tools that allow us to fix some of these vulnerabilities. So things like Ivanti, SCCM, Chef, Puppet, Ansible, all these tools will allow us or help us to remediate some of these vulnerabilities that we find. So if I go into my dashboard here, the first thing you'll notice is my security posture rating. And what the security posture rating is really you as an organization set what your security appetite is for your environment. And then based on that, the Vulcan platform will calculate how many of your assets are in line with that security posture, right? So right now it's telling me that 89% of my assets are within my security appetite that I have set for my environment. And then you can see some high-level statistics here. You can see that I have over 1,600 critical vulnerabilities. Over 9,000 have been discovered over 30 days. And then some other metrics here that you see, the high-risk vulnerabilities, the newest vulnerabilities that are discovered. And then what you'll also see here is a widget for the Log4j. And what this is actually telling me is how many vulnerable assets are there that are being impacted by the Log4j and how many of them have been fixed. Very quickly, I could click on this and get a view of the vulnerabilities and the assets that are being impacted by them, right? So here we could see all the different vulnerabilities, the risks who are associated with them, which source or tool did we ingest the data and we have the data coming in from, when was it first seen, when was it last seen, the number of assets that are being impacted, SLAs that are breached. We also connect through to 20-odd threat intel, which we're getting this information from, and correlate the data in order to come up with our risk scores. So we connect to threat intel like Packetstorm, MITRE CVE, NVD, GitHub, ExploitDB, and others. And then we also have a concept of business groups where we allow you to create groups based on a criteria to group your assets and then add an impact score to it. And this will also take into account and the calculation of our risk score. So from here, I could very quickly, as an analyst, choose any of these vulnerabilities that I found. And very quickly, I could see the CVSS score that was associated with this particular vulnerability. I could also see the overall score that the Vulcan platform has given, which is 100, which is a high impact. So you can see the reason for that is we found that it was exploitable in the wild. We found that that this particular vulnerability impacted assets that were tagged as high impact groups within your environment. And then if I go further down, I could see some of the information about the vulnerability itself. So the solution, the CVE associated with it. I could see the fixes that we found in order to actually do the fixing for this particular Log4j vulnerability, remote execution vulnerability, and the assets that are impacted by this as well. And then from a threat intel perspective, you could see that where we actually found the actual vulnerability and how to actually fix the vulnerability itself as well. So from here, as a security analyst, I don't have access to these assets in order to actually go and fix a vulnerability. So I would need to get this information to the right asset owner. And we do that by connecting into tools like Jira, ServiceNow, and email. So I could very quickly, as a security analyst, open up a Jira ticket. And you could see one of the things that we quickly do is we fill in all the fields that are necessary in order to create this ticket. The other thing that we actually also do is we do all the correlation. So based on the server, the OS, the version, we correlate all that data automatically for this owner that I'm going to send this information to, so he doesn't have to do it, and he's more inclined to actually do the fixing. You can see that we put in all the relevant information, the vulnerability description, what the solution is, the assets that are being impacted, and the remedy for this as well. And when I open the ticket, this will open up a Jira ticket automatically under that particular asset owner that owns the particular asset, and so that he could start working on doing some of the remediation. Now, the second challenge you as a security analyst has is also following up and figuring out if this vulnerability has been resolved. So within the Vulcan platform, we have things called campaigns, and the campaigns really follows the life of that vulnerability and sees to fruition when that vulnerability is actually fixed. So very quickly, I could see that a new ticket was open, and I could go into the Jira ticket very quickly and see the Jira ticket and the status of it as well. But straight from the tool itself, I could see all the assets that were vulnerable. I could see the status of the fixing that's happening for these particular assets. And what the Vulcan platform does is we wait for the tool or the scanner to come back and let us know that, hey, this vulnerability has been fixed in this particular asset. And when it does, we'll move it from in progress to fix. And the percent success will go up depending on the assets that are being fixed. And once this goes to 100%, we'll move it to closed, and we'll actually go and do the closing of the ticket in Jira as well. So again, the full life cycle and the activity has been monitored, as well as the ticket will be closed automatically. Now, all this is done in a manual fashion, what I've just shown you. The power of Vulcan also comes in from an automation perspective. To be able to quickly automate the tickets and getting the asset owner, the right asset owner, the right information very quickly in an automated fashion is also where Vulcan really comes in from a power perspective. So what we have here is I have a number of different automations that I've created. And within the Vulcan platform, there are things called playbooks that allow us to create these automations very quickly. So you can see what I have one is created one for the Log4j remediation. And for this, what you'll see is that I have gone and created the criteria for when this automation will kick off. So you can see that I'm saying the vulnerability source is tenable. This could be any of the sources that you're coming in from. You can see that the thread is one of Log4j. And again, we have capability of getting pretty granular with the actual criteria. I'm also saying that risk score is of critical. And the assets that is being impacted by, and the actions or the remediation steps I'm taking is opening up that Jira ticket automatically. I'm going to take and open up a separate ticket per vulnerability. I could attach any of the scripts. We have the capability of auto-generating Chef and Ansible ticket scripts automatically for some of these vulnerabilities. And then all the relevant information is filled in automatically. And I could go in and post a Slack channel, so you could change some of these actions as well. So the next thing I've done is open up the ticket automatically and post to a Slack channel that a critical vulnerability has been opened up, a ticket has been opened up as well. And then you could take some actions if the SLA has been breached as well. So if I go and save and run this will go in and look at all my vulnerable instances within the Vulcan platform and see which meets that criteria, and it'll actually take those actions automatically, and it'll also do it for any in-progress instances that are happening. So again, what this allows us to do is it allows us to quickly assign thousands of tickets to the appropriate asset owners, and then we could also follow or what, and get visibility into the remediation and where the remediation is through the campaign. So any ticket that gets opened up automatically, there will be a campaign that'll be run for this. And then finally, as a analyst, I would want to get a full analysis on what my risk is and what my remediation and my SLA tracking. So very quickly through our analytics piece, as an analyst, I'm able to track all the risk and the remediations through a number of different graphs and be able to export them out and take them into my next meeting or utilize them and in sending it to my peers or my management. So thank you for watching, and we'll talk to you again.